Wait a minute, hold the phone. You're telling me my boy Kirito is a cripple? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Who would have thought the Black Swordsman Kirito, the character that has always been quote-unquote deemed OP, a cheater, etc., would end up in a wheelchair and literally comatose. He's a vegetable. Like, I'm pretty shocked. I am really shocked with the development of this start of the season of Sword Art Online. Like, this is a big shock to me. I never would have thought I would see Kirito in this state. I mean, I could see it in real life, but not within the game world as well. I really wonder how long it's going to take for Kirito to recover, because I'm under the impression he's going to recover. I mean, it's guaranteed it's going to happen eventually, I'm assuming. Just the question is, how long? Because, I mean, when you look at the opening song for this new season of Sword Art Online, you don't really see Kirito really have any active role in the opening song. Now, I know many are saying, why are you looking at the opening song and comparing it to what maybe, or when Kirito is going to get back up? But that's the thing. Usually opening songs kind of spoil things, and you know, when you actually look at the opening, you don't see any scenes with Kirito, and it looks like we're going to go pretty far within the story, most likely with a giant war, without Kirito even participating at all, which just has me wondering, is he not going to recover until he gets out of this world? I mean, there's so many questions I have, because, I mean, like, does this mean that Kirito's technically not going to be our MC for this, like, round of SAO? Like, for this season, is he just gonna be on the back burner, and Alice is going to be the MC, which is pretty cool, honestly, because, I mean, when you think about the last time we had the anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito were kind of sharing the spotlight, and you could kind of say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the MC for the time being when he's around before his, you know, inevitable death, which is sad, by the way, and I'll get into all that in a second, but basically, it seems like Alice is now the active MC of the story, which is, unique, honestly. I'm pretty excited to see where the story is going to go, and I do like how the writer is really dabbling into things that we haven't seen before from the story, because if there's one thing that many kind of obviously complained about a lot in Sword Art Online, is that Kirito, some didn't really like Kirito because he was an uninteresting character, he was OP, etc. He always creates a harem. You know, there's always these complaints you see from watchers or readers of the story, and I'm glad to see that Kirito's kind of been taking the, you know, like the spotlight's been away from him, and he's giving it to others, and we're getting to see them develop, the main focus on them. We kind of saw briefly this in, you know, Gun Gal Online, but I'm glad to see it's kind of really focused on characters and really giving them a lot of development, like Alice, for instance. So, yeah, it's very interesting just to see how this, you know, season is starting off. But okay, anyways, it's been a bit. Sword Art Online has finally returned, and oh, that cliffhanger, like, that cliffhanger has still been paining me every so often. I remember it before this, you know, episode came out, or these 2 episodes I just watched. It's been paining me, because, like, that was a horrible cliffhanger we got from the last season, and I'm glad to finally get some continuation, because, as I said in my, reviews, my final anime reviews for the last season, the anime surpassed where I was at. I no longer know what's going to happen. I have no idea where the story's going to go, which is why I'm really shocked about Kirito's situation right now. And so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. So yeah, I'm really thinking I'm going to enjoy this season of Sword Art Online, and it seems like it really has a fundamentally different tone than we've seen before. So, to get right into it, I want to talk about Kirito's situation. The boy is super unlucky. Like, can we really just take a moment to talk about how unlucky of a person he is right now? Like, if we think about what happened in the last season, right at the start, he got attacked by a remaining member of Def Gun's group, and he was put into the hospital and comatose. And the only way to treat him was by putting him into this world, the underworld, and allowing him to recover slowly. That was the whole purpose of him being in this world at the time. And even though he had all of his memory and functions, he was acting normal throughout the last season, you know, his outside body in real life was obviously in bad shape. But now, at the start of this season, he's in the exact same state as he is in the real world. He is legitimately in a coma, or he's just a vegetable at this point, and it's just like, oh my god, this man's got some bad luck. Like, Kirito really has some bad luck going on right now. Like, people that want to say he's OP is, you know, gonna be wrong right now. Like, this man has literally been struck by so much unfortunate luck these past 2 seasons. I mean, it's not even just that either. He lost his friend, too, at the end of the last season. Yu-Gi-Oh! Died for him to survive, which is just messed up on so many levels. And then, you know, finding out that the entire world's gonna end, etc. We know how Kirito feels about virtual reality. So there's just a lot of bad things that's been thrown at this man constantly since last season. And just seeing him now in this state, I'm just like, it's just so different. Honestly, if you would have told me something like this would have happened in the last season, or season 3, or season 2 and season 1, I would have said you're lying. I honestly would have said you're lying, because I don't think I ever saw this coming. So, okay, let's get into the plot, what's happening going forward, what is the main story going to be focusing on. So, one of the big things, obviously, that is the main issue at hand, is that the Dark Territory, the creatures from the Dark Territory, are coming in to the, you know, the main capital of humans. Like, you know, the main human capital cities and stuff like that. We even see in episode 2 of, you know, this season of Sword Art Online, where these orcs and also these, you know, goblins come in to start attacking Alice's village and Yu-Gi-Oh's village. They're decimating it, destroying it, etc., which really just goes to show that the war that was talked about in the last season is definitely happening. But the thing is they've lost some great warriors. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is gone, Kirito is not there, so obviously, you know, the knights that have been constantly built up, you know, have to fight. But the thing is, they're incredibly weakened after the fights from the last season, so honestly, they're not going to really be able to hold off for long. They really do need some reinforcements, especially when you find out at the end of this episode that there's going to be people from that, you know, whatever government or military group that attacked the facility Kirito's currently in with Asuna, that, you know, they're going to be entering into the virtual reality world. So, obviously, there needs to be more backup on Kirito's side. And I do wonder if Asuna is probably going to potentially go in to this virtual reality world. It would be really cool if we get to see that and we get a more story focused on her and other characters alongside of Alice instead of Kirito taking the spotlight. That would be something I would definitely welcome. But at this time, though, it's really bad because right now they can't really defend themselves, and we already know the situation that all the citizens really have. They're individuals that believe in, like, the holy book, you know, the index and all that, to where they will not do anything. Like, if it says they have to do so-and-so, they will do so-and-so, and they will not go against the rules. They will never break a rule, which is one of the reasons why you see within this episode why all the citizens were staying inside of the village and not really running away, because it was, you know, something that they never expected, and the rules means that they kind of have to stay in the village for the rest of their life, and that's why Alice kind of had to flex her authority just to get them to evacuate. That's kind of sad, really, but it just goes to show the situation that all the humans in this world are really going to experience, is that they'd rather die and sit in the village than break a rule. That's kind of what's happening here. So, I'm glad someone like Alice managed to break away, and she broke, you know, the rules to be able to even do what she did within this episode. So, I wonder if we're going to get to see more of these, you know, these individuals break away from the rules and become their own individual and develop as characters. I would like to see that. So, let's get into the aftermath, though. So, obviously, since the, what happened at the end of the last season and Kirito being a cripple, someone has to take care of him. And Alice obviously has been taking care of him for a good long while now. She's been, you know, taking care of all of his needs, feeding him, clothing him, keeping him warm, etc., laying him down in bed, pretty much treating him like an infant. She is his nurse. She's literally taking care of him, and it's so sad in a way, because it's not just sad to see Kirito in that state, it's sad just to see someone like Alice taking care of someone. And I'm not saying it's bad for her character, I'm just saying it kind of just reminds you of what happens in real life. There's a lot of people in real life that have stuff like, you know, what happened to Kirito happened, and not in like a virtual reality world, but they're in a coma, vegetable state, and you have it to where their loved ones have to take care of them for an indefinite amount of time. You don't know if their loved one will ever wake up, etc. It's just incredibly sad, and even though Alice said it wasn't a burden to be able to take care of Kirito, at the end of the day, it still is. I don't care what anyone says, it definitely will weigh on you. The pressure, the emotional stress, etc. will slowly eat away at you taking care of someone that may or may not ever wake up again. And just seeing how she, as someone that's such a strong warrior, is taking care of Kirito and his every need in this remote section of the forest outside of the village is just incredibly sad. It really just sets a tone for the beginning of this season of Sword Art Online and the burden that Alice now carries, because the two individuals that kind of woke her up and made her realize what the world really is was Kirito and Eugeo, and obviously both of them are really no longer there. Even though Kirito's body is there, he's technically not there in spirit anymore, and so Alice can't really do anything. Like, she doesn't have the support of those two to really push her along, and so she has to make her own decisions without them, and we know Eugeo, he's dead, so there's a lot of sadness there, and so Alice really has to become her own person, push forward and make decisions on her own without someone constantly lending her a hand, and I think is going to lead to some incredible character development for her. Now, another big detail, too, that we need to look at is, the situation with what is happening, like the in-game goal. So obviously with the military group that attacked the facility going into the VR world, the main objective is to get Alice, get her Fluctolite out and basically capture it and then leave the facility, and obviously the people that are trapped in there, like Asuna's group, etc., are not going to get any support from the outside world, so the only way that they really can get anything done is by somehow going into the VR space and getting Kirito to get back up and also getting Alice out of there and saving the entire citizens as well. So a lot is riding on the VR space, and I think that this time around we're probably going to see a lot more interactions for people from the outside probably messing with the inside of the world, so I'm curious to see what will happen when more of these AI actually come to find out that they're created and they're artificial and they aren't really, you know, in a real world technically. So I'm curious to see if something like that will happen. It's incredibly fascinating, and I really like the concept and themes we got from the previous season. But I think I want to wrap it up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.